Have you ever had someone you love so much, your best friend, twist the knife so deep? Not once, but twice? What if I told you that my maid of honor, the woman who is supposed to stand by my side, actually teamed up with my fiancé to utterly destroy my wedding day, all because of a secret I was trying to protect? It all started with Laura's bachelorette party. She was my best friend, practically a sister, and she was finally marrying her high school sweetheart, Anthony, who also happened to be my actual brother. I was so incredibly happy for them, honored to be her maid of honor. Everything felt perfect, a true fairy tale. Until it wasn't. During the bachelorette trip, something happened that still makes my stomach churn. Laura, my soon-to-be sister-in-law, hired male dancers. And it wasn't just for a laugh, you know? She slept with every single one of them. My jaw just about hit the floor. When I confronted her, my heart pounding, she looked me dead in the eye and issued a chilling threat. If I dared breathe a word to Anthony, she'd expose my past as an adult entertainer to my new boyfriend, Todd. My blood ran cold. I was trapped, caught between my brother and my best friend. On one hand, the guilt was crushing. Telling Anthony would shatter his world, and I knew it. But on the other, how could I let Laura get away with such a manipulative, heartless act? It just didn't feel right. When we got back from the holiday, Anthony, all smiles, asked us about the trip. I glanced at Laura. Not an ounce of guilt, not a flicker of remorse on her face. She just beamed, saying it was so relaxing and how much fun she had, how she really needed that time. Anthony, innocent and eager, just ate it up, happy she enjoyed herself. My stomach knotted with disgust. The next week, as we were deep into wedding planning, picking out decorations and agonizing over seating charts, Laura asked me a question. But I didn't hear a word. My mind was stuck on a loop, replaying those horrible nights, the image of those men going into her room. The guilt was literally eating me alive. "Emily, are you even listening to me?" she snapped, pulling me back to reality. I mumbled an apology, a pathetic excuse. We finished up, picked the wedding colors, and left the shop. But my decision was made. I had to tell Anthony. But how? These were heavy accusations, and I had no proof. How could I let my brother marry such a manipulative person without him knowing the truth? I hatched a plan. The next day, I invited Laura to brunch at a new restaurant near my house. I discreetly placed my phone on the table, facing her, and hit record. We chatted like old times, girl talk, wedding plans, how excited she was. It felt so incredibly fake, so unsettling. This was the first time we'd really talked one-on-one since her threat. Then I subtly brought up the trip. I asked if she'd like to go somewhere similar for her and Anthony's honeymoon. She gushed about the beautiful resort, the amazing food. That's when I dropped my bait. I mentioned how one of the other bridesmaids had gotten a number from a guy she met there. Laura, ever the gossip, perked right up. "Juicy. Spill the tea," she demanded. I played coy, said I didn't know much, just that they were planning a date, joked that maybe he'd propose at her wedding. Laura laughed, then casually said, "Oh, I wish I could have taken one of those guys' phone numbers from the resort." My heart pounded. This was it. I leaned in. "Oh, really? Which one?" She lowered her voice, a sly smile playing on her lips. "I'd take the second guy," she whispered. "He was so good in bed." I pretended to pick up my drink, nudging my phone closer to her. "The best out of all of them?" I asked, feigning casual interest. "By a long shot," she confirmed, with another laugh. We laughed. We drank. The waiter brought the bill. The second he turned away, I ended the recording. We hugged, said our goodbyes, and went our separate ways. The moment I got to my car, I called Anthony. "I need to talk to you, ASAP. And don't tell Laura." He asked if everything was okay. I told him I'd explain everything when I saw him, told him to meet me at my house, and hung up. I raced home, my hands shaking. When he knocked, I practically ripped the door open. "Does Laura know you're here?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "No," he said. "She thinks I went to see Mom and Dad." I led him to the couch, pulled out my phone, and with a heavy heart, I pressed play. His face, so full of love and hope just moments before, just dropped. The color drained from it. He asked me how long I'd known. Since that night, I choked out. We sat in a long, agonizing silence. He finally spoke, his voice hollow. She told me she had a lot of fun, that she really needed that night. She even talked about how all the guys on the resort were hitting on her, flashing the ring I bought her every time. He looked at me, a deep hurt in his eyes. I can't believe she lied to me. I told him I was so sorry he had to find out this way, but he deserved to know the real person he was marrying. He asked why I waited so long, and I explained Laura's threat about Todd, about my past. Anthony was instantly protective. That shouldn't matter, Em. That was before you two were together. And he was right, intellectually. But Todd was a conservative man, and I wanted to be 100% transparent with him, on my terms when the time was right.
I wanted him to hear it from me.
Anthony apologized for getting me caught in the crossfire. But he was my brother, and his well-being was infinitely more important than maintaining a friendship with a liar. Then I had to set one more condition. If you're going to break up with Laura, I said, you have to do it for another reason. Don't let her know I told you, or that I recorded her. She could still tell Todd about my past. 2 weeks before the wedding, my phone rang. It was Laura. She was screaming and sobbing, incoherent, repeating, "He left me. He left me." I managed to piece together that Anthony had called off the wedding. I asked her why, and through her sniffling tears, she said he told her they weren't compatible because he found evidence of her cheating on her phone.
Just that.
She asked if there was another girl. I played innocent, told her I knew nothing, said he was head over heels for her, and I couldn't imagine what could have happened. Her voice sounded so utterly heartbroken. For a moment, a tiny flicker of pity, I actually felt bad for her. I knew I'd have to be there for her. Months went by. Laura practically lived on my couch, a constant, tearful presence. I bought her favorite candies, watched endless movies with her, though honestly, you don't realize how many films center around couples until you're desperately trying to avoid them. I was her sounding board, her emotional punching bag. She even asked me to talk to Anthony, to get him to take her back. I gently told her he was too broken, that some things you just can't come back from. She just cried more. Eventually, the tears started to dry up. She started asking me about Todd, about how we were such a good couple and how he felt about my past. I confessed he still didn't know, that I wanted to tell him when I was ready. She looked at me, almost genuinely concerned, and said she didn't want what happened to her to happen to me, and that I should tell him soon. I just shook my head. It's my relationship, Laura. I'll handle it my way. After months of third-wheeling our relationship, Laura finally moved back into her own apartment. She still visited, a couple times a week, but she seemed happier, healthier. I was glad she was getting her space. One evening, at dinner with Todd, he mentioned how glad he was to see Laura doing better and asked about Anthony. I realized I hadn't talked to my brother in a while and promised to call him the next day. As we finished dinner, the waiter brought out a dessert I hadn't ordered. Before I could object, I saw it. "Will you marry me?" written in chocolate sauce. I looked up, and Todd was on one knee, those charming eyes sparkling, a wide smile on his face. I nearly fainted. Butterflies erupted in my stomach. I managed a shaky yes. He slipped the ring on my finger, kissed me. I hugged him, tears streaming down my face. Pure, unadulterated bliss. The next day, I called Anthony, buzzing with excitement, and went to his house to catch up. I told him the amazing news about Todd. He was ecstatic, said I was so lucky to find someone so genuine and loving, unlike his ex. I laughed, wholeheartedly agreeing. "You dodged a bullet, Aunt," I told him. "If it wasn't for me, you'd be stuck with a liar." He smiled, pulling me into a hug. "My big sister always looks out for me. You're a genius for recording her." I probably would have been blinded by love if I hadn't heard it from the horse's mouth. It felt good, a shared victory. Over the next few months, Todd and I dove headfirst into wedding planning. I was hesitant to ask Laura to help, given her own canceled wedding, but she was my best friend. I felt like I had to. When I asked her, she screamed yes, with such genuine excitement. I couldn't help but feel a rush of warmth. We started looking at venues, cakes, decorations. It was all so much more exciting when it was my wedding, my future with Todd. I daydreamed constantly. One Saturday, Laura and I went for lunch to the same restaurant where I'd recorded her. She said the food was so good, she had to have it again. When I arrived, she had a gift for me, a caricature of Todd and me. One of those silly ones with big heads and tiny bodies. My drawing had a ridiculously huge mouth. I laughed. Where did you even get this? The fair hasn't been here for months. She just smiled. Oh, I know a guy who sells them. They look so accurate, right? I agreed, laughing. She insisted we had to frame it, hang it right above our bed. I just said, oh, it'll go somewhere for sure. We ordered the same meal as last time, grilled steak with garlic butter and seafood paella. It was just as delicious. Laura asked if I was nervous about the wedding. I admitted I was a little because I still hadn't told Todd about my past. I just hoped it wouldn't make that big of a difference. She nodded. It shouldn't if he truly loves you for you. We finished our food, left, and the wedding day arrived. Soft music played. I made Laura my maid of honor, just as she had been to me. I walked down the aisle, greeted by the smiling faces of our family and friends. I felt nervous, yes, but also a joy so pure, so overwhelming, I thought my heart might burst. As the officiant began to speak, about to ask for our vows, he paused and then, if anyone objects, a voice from behind me said, me. I thought it was a joke. I actually laughed, turning around, ready to playfully scold whoever it was. But it wasn't a joke. It was Laura, standing there, a stern, chilling look on her face. I'm serious, she declared. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Laura, what are you doing? I whispered, my voice trembling. I know, she spat, her eyes burning into mine. I know you're the one who broke up me and Anthony's wedding. I stood there, utterly paralyzed, denying it instinctively, my face burning, sweat prickling under my arms. What are you talking about? I choked out a pathetic lie. I overheard you and Anthony's conversation in his house months ago, she continued, her voice rising, confessing that you recorded our conversation at the restaurant. My blood ran cold. I bugged Anthony's house after the wedding, she admitted, almost proudly. I wanted to see if there was another girl, but the only girl I had to worry about was you. My best friend, she screamed, her voice echoing through the stunned silence of the room. My gaze snapped to Todd. He was looking at me with disgust. Then, the words that shattered my entire world, words I still can't unhear. Not only have I told Todd all about your past, she hissed, but Todd and we've been intimate for the past year. My breath hitched. This was our plan all along, she gloated, a twisted smile forming on her face. And we'll be together now. She ran to Todd, grabbed his face, and kissed him deeply, passionately, right there, in front of everyone. If anyone is getting married today, she declared, looking at me with pure venom, it's going to be me. The crowd erupted in a cacophony of gasps and murmurs. My entire world imploded. I just ran. I ran out of there, crying, wanting to disappear, to be swallowed by the earth. Anthony caught up to me in the dressing room, pulling me into a tight hug as I sobbed into his chest. How could she? I choked out between gasps. He just kept saying, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But I knew, deep down, it wasn't. I mean, what do you even do when your entire life, your future, is ripped away like that by the two people you trusted most? Have you ever experienced a betrayal so deep, so calculated? Tell me in the comments, because honestly, I'm still trying to process how anyone could be this cruel.